Good afternoon, everyone. I am happy to be here in Tokyo today, but I do have to confess it is too hot in Tokyo for me. Hopefully it will get a little bit cooler later on in the week. Today I want to talk to you about how Linux is changing the computing industry once again. How Linux is really becoming the fundamental fabric of computing. How Linux is moving beyond servers and PCs into virtually every kind of system that people are using today and in the future. And so I thought today I would talk about the vision for Linux and the vision for MeeGo. Because all great ideas, all successful endeavors start with a vision. For example, Bill Gates had a vision 25 years ago. And it was a simple vision. They wanted a computer on every desk in every home running Microsoft software. It was a simple vision. It was an important vision. And Bill Gates became the richest man in the world. And Microsoft products are used by almost everyone in the world today. And so Linux is starting another similar type of vision. Linux is really becoming the fundamental component of the future of computing. And I thought I would show you some examples of where that's happening all over the world, where Linux is being used that you might not expect. Linux runs things like the New York Stock Exchange. It runs the Tokyo Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. Billions and billions, no, trillions of dollars are traded every single day using Linux. Linux runs nuclear submarines. You really can't get more mission critical than a nuclear submarine. And Linux is being used by the US military and other military around the world to run their submarines. Linux runs the city of Munich. All their desktops, all their servers, all running on open source Linux. Linux runs air traffic control. If you fly through Germany, if you work with the FAA in the United States, you're putting your life in the hands of Linux. Linux runs French Parliament, which I understand is very efficient. Well, maybe not as efficient as the Japanese Parliament, but pretty good too. Linux powers the $10 billion CERN Super Collider, one of the most advanced research projects in the world. Linux discovered oil in Brazil. It discovered oil years faster than previously done through massive, massive clusters of Linux computers. I think Petrobras, the company that discovered oil in Brazil, even has a large cluster of PlayStation 3s that they use to research oil. Linux powers the One Laptop Per Child initiative, which helps children in poverty in India, Pakistan, South America get access to technology that they never would have been able to have. Linux created all of the special effects in Avatar. The entire movie was created on a Linux system. Linux runs smart power systems to help the planet be more green. And Linux is even powering automobiles. Today, there's a press release, I think at all of your seats, announcing that the Geneva Alliance has chosen MeeGo and Linux to power their advanced automotive infotainment systems. And Linux isn't just in the cars. Linux is in the transportation system as a whole. Linux is in smart stoplights. Linux is in traffic control cameras. Linux takes data from cars, cameras, traffic control systems. It analyzes that data and helps people get from point A to point B faster. All of it is Linux. Because the Linux vision is very, very, very simple. Our vision is to connect everything. It's not a PC on every desk in every home running Windows. We literally want to connect everything. And so it's the end of one era, and it's the beginning of a new era of Linux. And let me give you some examples of where Linux is succeeding in this new era. First of all, you can see in supercomputing. In less than 10 years, Linux went from almost no market share to now over 90% market share in the top 500 supercomputers in the world. It is the Microsoft of supercomputing. Linux is now dominating in embedded systems, overtaking VxWorks and becoming the dominant platform for embedded systems. Linux is dominating in mobile devices. In addition to MeeGo, Android, WebOS, Limo, Chrome, all of the competitive responses to Apple are Linux, without question. Linux is even dominating in the stock market. This chart, the blue line is Microsoft stock, and the red line is Red Hat stock. And this represents 1 year of trading, exactly 1 year ago. So this is from today through back 1 year through 2009. And you can see that in terms of growth, both companies started about the same. And while Microsoft in 1 year has grown basically zero, in 1 year, Red Hat stock has grown almost 60%. Because the stock market knows a winner, and the stock market always invests in the future. If you think of the stock market, it's a very efficient way to see what's coming, because when you invest your money, you want it to grow. And so investors invest in growth. And clearly here, we can see that for over a year now, the market is saying Linux is the future and Microsoft and Windows is not. Because the future of computing is really changing in a fundamental way. Today, the internet has over 1 billion people using it to access information and content. And the internet is headed to over 2 billion people who will have access to computers. And the internet really did change a lot of computing. But that's only the beginning of the Linux vision. Because what's happening is that the internet is no longer just connecting people. The internet is connecting things. The internet of connected devices, cars like BMWs or GM cars from Geneva, or appliances or roadways or pipelines or livestock or this projector or that light bulb or that power meter are all going to be connected. And that world of connected devices is headed to 1 trillion. And most of those connected things, most of the internet of connected things, will be based on Linux. And it's going to require a totally new way of doing computing. And it's going to expand the technology industry in an incredible way. And there's going to be incredible opportunity for everyone, even though the fundamental operating system software is entirely free. And here's an example. This is an example from a power company in the Southwest United States. So this company is putting in Linux-based digital metering systems. And previously to creating smart meters in people's homes, meters that read the power, they would have somebody manually go to each home and read the meter. And so this company has 1 million customers, and once a month they read the meter to understand how much they should charge for power. So that's 12 million transactions per year. Pretty simple.